All right, I think we're live. This always starts the same way. I'm not 100% sure if we're live, but I think we're good to go. It's 5 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's 9 a.m. in California, 5 p.m. here in London, and it's always 5 p.m. somewhere. Welcome to the Sunday service. I decided that everyone else calls this the church service, so I'm going to stop calling it the Sunday session. It's now the Sunday service for life. Welcome, everyone. How's your weekend going? How are you all doing? You'll notice that my camera is a little bit different today. It's because I'm using iOS 16 and I'm running it through my phone, through the automatic connection sort of system that's going on with it, because my webcam was really like jumpy. So how are you guys doing? Drop me some love in the comments. Hit some likes if you're actually in here watching. Oh, hello Morgan. Welcome to the first live stream live from Minnesota. We got Brendan in the chat, Juan, Brazen, Matthew, Braitman, Mark, Ian. How's everyone doing? Brazen. Oh, Sunday service. How is everyone? I got myself a coffee this afternoon. I know it's like 5 p.m. I never drink coffee after 5, but I was literally chilling out on the sofa watching Batman, and and I was like really sleepy, so I figured get myself some coffee. Hopefully it doesn't keep me awake all night. What's going on, Dr. Don? Yes, you are on time. Quentin Scott, welcome to the live stream, my friend. Shehin says hi. Hi, buddy. How you doing? Hello from China. What's up, Darcy Zhang, all the way from China? I should probably like share this on my socials, but my phone is my webcam. You'll notice that I have my laptop here, which is kind of strange to look at because it's usually me talking to this, but I can't share this live stream on my socials. So if anybody wants to share this on their socials for me, that would be a treat, but don't worry if you can't. I figured today, I posted yesterday on a Saturday, by the way, my top 5 favorite playing cards or current favorite playing cards. I had a lot of you ask, or a few of you ask, I don't say a lot, a couple of you asked for me to make videos like that, sort of like my favorite things and what have you. So I figured I would shoot it. Yes, I uploaded it really late at night, so it didn't kind of like pop like my normal videos. I literally uploaded it like 9-10 p.m. at night. But yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and let me know what you think. Do you want me to do more stuff like that? I really, really, really enjoyed it. But off the back of that, I figured today we would have a bit of a chill out Sunday and we would go over some card slides. And if there's any card slides that you want to talk about, or anything that, you know, maybe you think I should improve on, because I am never the master, then let's just jam it out. Let's just start firing away with some questions and just get it into it. Whoa, the chat just blew up. I didn't realize so many people were in here. Liam Lebanon, what's going on, Liam? Okay, the blur is distracting. Is it distracting for everyone else? Does everyone else think the blur is distracting, or is it good for you? 12 a.m. for you, Ian. Evening, Stu. How are you, my friend? Matthew Braitman says, have I tried to fool Penn and Teller yet? No, I've helped with routines that have fooled Penn and Teller, but I've never... it's not my thing. I don't think I'd ever want to do it. I've been asked a lot about would I do it, not by the people on the show, but like from people like yourselves. It's never been my thing. I'm really not into like competitions with Magic. Morgan May, iOS 16 is awesome. Yes, I can try the new drop-down view, I think, but I'd have to use an OBS. I need to record a screen and then try it. And I also have no tabletop here, so it would look a bit silly just looking down at my legs. Dr. Dawes says, can't believe Steamboats didn't make the cut. I know. Well, I don't have Steamboats. That's the truth of the matter. I don't have Steamboats. Actually, I don't know if you guys can see, but in the corner down here, I know it's a little bit blurred, that is my entire playing card collection as of right now, pretty much. I threw out so many decks of cards. I know that's kind of wasteful, but when I left a certain company, I just didn't want any like remnants from that time that I was there. So I just trashed it all. So that's all I have at the minute, but I do need to stock up. I want to get some Arcos, Steamboats. Everyone in the comments is talking about the butterfly cards, and I can't believe, even though I know Andrej, I don't have any, so I'm going to pick some up and maybe do a review video on those. LP, I'm digging the mustache. Thanks, man. All the years I didn't think I could actually grow one, but it like turns out I kind of can. I can't grow like a Jason Momoa beard, but this will do. Pete Booth says, have I been to the smallest house in the world in Wales? Well, I have, in a way. There's a lot of debate over which one it is, but there's one in Kenfig Hill, it's called, which was the smallest house. I think it still is the smallest house in the world in Wales. That's literally, for me, that's a running distance away. It's like 5-6 minutes up the road. 52 cards on Patreon. I haven't seen those yet. Okay, Stu Bateman asks, how the best way to make Sleights silent? Oh, John Middleton, by the way, says, highlight of my week. Thank you so much, man. We've got Chris James, R&R, Magic Blueprint. Hi, you're new. Magic Blueprint, come on in. Enjoy. Start firing some questions about card Sleights. Okay, so I'm going to answer some of these now. So the first one that says, how do you make card Sleights silent? It depends on the Sleight. Some Sleights are inherently silent. And then you have some Sleights like the pass, which can or cannot be the silent, and things like the snap change. So a snap change is designed to have a sound to it. But then you have things like the pass, which you hear all that like clicking. And this is a really bad angle for the pass because it needs to be more like angled down. But the pass, I cover it on the pass by, I'll riffle as I do it. So it's as if I'm riffling the deck. That was terrible. So when I do the move, the sound is covered by this artificial or real sound that sort of masks the thing. Let me try that again. God, I need this coffee right now. Let's try this one more time. So that little flick at the back will cover it. So sometimes you can add things to your card Sleights that will sort of cover the sounds. But yeah, overall, like I find that like adding acoustics to the way you handle cards in general by sometimes flicking them, dribbling them, stuff like this can then mask when sounds occur later on, or when, in other words, when talking occurs later on. Interesting question. If you can specify a certain Sleight that you're having difficulties with the sound, then I can maybe focus in on that for you. Okay. Next top five coin tricks. That's a great suggestion. Dr. Don, I will do that, and I will credit you. If I forget to write it down because this is live and I can't type on my phone, please comment in the comments when the video goes up, and I'll credit you in that video for suggesting. That's a great suggestion. Chris James, have I played with Color Match yet? Been thinking about grabbing this. I haven't. I have not played with it yet. I don't have a copy. But all I hear from everyone is just how perfect it's made. So make of that what you will. Morgan May says, I'd love to hear about how you practice card Sleights and how you guide your focus on what Sleights to work on. So this is probably the best question. No offense to anyone else, but this is the best question I could have hoped for today because it's kind of what I wanted to talk about is practicing with sleight of hand. And I got a lot of questions asking me about how I practice with sleight of hand. And the question is that the answer is, for me, is that I don't necessarily dedicate practicing time to sleight of hand. I sort of intrinsically live with a deck of cards in my hand and I'm always handling them. And I've never felt that I have to practice or make time to practice. Apart from like the odd sleight here or there, like the clip shift, which although I've practiced I can't do. And maybe that's because I've tried to practice it. But the cards feel like they should always be an extension of me. And for that reason, they live with me whenever I can. So I have decks of cards everywhere. I have obviously hundreds in the office. I have at least 3 or 4 next to the side of my bed. I have loads in the kitchen, the living room. And really what I do is I just, every time I'm in a room and I get a moment, I pick up a deck and I'll just start to do things with it. In terms of sleight choice, the more I progress and change in my Magic, the more my sleights progress and change. So before, when I would try and do, I wanted to come up with like all this really intense move, bunky sleight of hand, things like, let me show you an example. So this one, things called the, I don't know if I'll get it right, but this is what I used to do. So this is like things like the LTB control, where a card would be placed in the center of the deck, like so, left out jogged, and then it would come to the top, right? Which it could be confused for an ego slip, but it's not. So if you want to see that, the move is, I have a card, an X card out jogged here. And as I fake placing the 2 into the deck from an exposed view, the 2 looks like it's going into the deck. the deck is covered by my knuckles, and I'm going to use the riser move, the Frank Garcia riser move to pop out the X card. Now my ring finger is going to contact that to then extend it out further to make it look copacetic, right? Which gives that illusion that the 2 comes to the top. So let me show you one more time. Let me get that. You can do the get ready like this, but I've always just, in the offbeat, got the little kick out the back easily. So again, from the top, I take that 2, and I'm going to place it into the deck like this. So I used to practice sleights like that, or not practice per se, but those would be the type of sleights that I would use in as like my daily bread. But these days, the sleights that I find myself completely going over and over and over again are the sleights that are more practical in the real world. So things like Ben Earl's sort of take on the Troy Hussier slipstream control, which is a fantastic control that looks like this. You take the 5 of clubs, gets lost somewhere into the center of the deck, about halfway down. Actually, that was the Troy Hussier version. So you can see you got the jack and it becomes the 5. Was it the 5 of clubs? Try that again. So, for example, we'll do the top version. So the 5 of hearts gets lost into the deck, somewhere near the middle, roughly halfway down. Now this doesn't look very good on camera, especially at the terrible angle, because this angle is too straight on, it needs to be down. But in the real world, this is one of the best controls you can ever use, because you're going through the deck casually, you can show the card, gets lost somewhere in the center, and as you show that it's somewhere in the middle, you control it to the top. So I find myself just regurgitating and practicing or going over these moves all the time, just as I'm standing around. So as I'm just chilling, I'll just be practicing certain elements of that control, whether it's the cull and things like that. I also focus on smaller details for moves. So, for example, the cull is a move that I do a lot, right? But I would find myself flashing at the back, all right, or at the front like this. So I find a lot of the time what I hone in on is trying to practice the smaller details, which is just not flashing the moves. I'm not necessarily going through all the motions, but just focusing on the elements that I'm having trouble with in the real world, like flashing. Here's an interesting tip as well. If you are having trouble with certain elements of moves, you can adapt them to make them better for yourself. And what I mean is, I used to flash the cull, like I said, a lot, right, the front and back. So one thing that I did was take an inspiration from Chris Kenner's 4x4 switch. Is I created a block out of the cards for myself. So what I would do is spread them like this when I began. So I'd spread through and say, look, you're going to take out a card from somewhere in the deck. And I would create this big width of cards here. Now, when I cull, I'm not going to flash the culled card from the top or bottom because I have all this room covering it up with itself. And the beauty is, it makes it look like you're a bit sloppy too. And sloppy card mechanics I always find are stronger for the layman because you don't look like you've got expert technique. If you look at your expert technique, they don't think what you're doing is magic, they think it's sleight of hand. Did that answer some questions? I need to check out, oh my god, there's so many comments. So many comments, wow. Did all that sort of make sense though, everyone? Wow, okay, let me just catch up on where we are. We have 5 coin tricks. I'd love to hear about how you practice card sleights. Okay, so that was from Morgan May. Let me know more if you have any more questions about practicing. Brazen says, what's your go-to card force for a casual setting? And what's my favorite for magicians? Great question. So go-to card force for a casual setting, 99 times out of 100, if I'm going to do one card effect, will be the crosscut force, as sad as that is. But I also like Garcia's handling of Jay Sankey's Wichita Slip. So obviously it's not mine to teach, but I can show you the way it looks. So if I'm going to force the bottom card, I can run through and have someone touch the back of any card. So let's say they touch me on this card, and I can turn over and reveal that bottom card there. And what's nice about this is that it can also hide the back design too. The other thing I like to do is a cull force. So just either by having a card 5th down from top, or from taking it from bottom. If it's fifth down from top, then you can just get the card stolen into cull and have someone touch any card and remember it. Or, like before, you can make a nice big block, steal a card from the bottom like a bottom deal. So it runs along the face, have them touch anywhere, and then you can reveal that that's the force card. Those are two forces that I like, and I'll show you just, I can't teach it obviously, but it's Garcia's handling of Sankey's Wichita Slip. They touch a card here, and as you turn it over, it forces that exact card and looks like it. So that's a really simple one. When it comes to forcing for magicians, I will generally, I mean, now that you guys know me so well, I'll do multiple things, but I'll often do sort of like a number force. So I'll have a card in a certain position, and I will have them name a number and deal to it. So I can say, look, you know that I can do sleight of hand. I'm not going to try and do like classic forces on you. Name a number, and whatever cards there, just use that. But I'll force them psychologically onto the number I want, or close enough to it. So I'm trying to think if there's another sleight of hand force that I use for magicians. Forcing magicians is really like the one thing that is, with cards, is kind of tricky to do. But I've been working on a force lately. I wonder if I can show you guys. Do you guys want to see an interesting thing which I haven't published anywhere yet, and it's not fully finished? If you give me 2 seconds, I'll show you the basic idea, all right? I'm just going to grab one thing. This. I don't know if this is going to work, but give me 1 more second. Okay, talk amongst yourselves, class. All right, so the idea is, let me see where we are. This isn't finished yet. So the idea is, I don't know if this is going to work very well. I'm going to force the 2 of hearts. So let me make sure we're set up. All right, so I'd give the deck to the spectator. I'm going to ask them to cut the deck anywhere in half under the table, so without looking at it. So they can see they're all different. They're going to cut somewhere and turn those cards face down. All right. So I should probably have practiced this, but they would do this under the table. So I'll do it again. So I'm going to do it out of sight, turn them over. They spread through, and the first face down card they come to is going to be the force card. So let me show you that one more time in a setup position. Actually, yeah, I can do this face up, I think. I can do this face up, but they would do this under the table. So look, you can spread through and show all the cards are different. All right. You'd have them cut, but under the table, but I'll show you exposed. So they cut the deck anywhere they want. Let's say they cut around there. They turn these cards over, and then you tell them to spread through. And the first card, the card that they've cut to, is the force card. In this case, the 2 of hearts. So this is the way this works. Is this? Actually, before I show you how it works, I'm guessing most of you can maybe guess how this works, but comment down below if you think you know the method. And then I'll confirm whether you're right or wrong. So that's the Brazen Magic. God, so many comments. Butterflies are my favorite deck. I'm going to pick up some butterflies this evening. I need to get them. Brazen Magic said, what sleight maneuver was the one that gave you the most euphoric feeling of, yes, I've nailed it? I don't think I've nailed any sleight ever. But there's certain sleights. There's one sleight that I've created called the Sand Switch, which to this day is the one of the sleights which makes me giddy that I created it. All right. So double face, double face, double face. Turn over the second card, 2 face. All right, yes, you guys nailed it. I think I flashed a little bit as well, but you're also way more brilliant than me. This is the secret, and this is a real rogue one, but it's a double facer. I put some double stick tape on it though. All right, so I have the 2 of hearts and the 3 of spades. The force card is this one. I also took the other 2 of hearts out of the deck. And so the reason you do it under the table is because the card that's going to be forced is what they think is the one they've cut to, so they don't want to see it. But if you think about this from a point of view of how fooling this is for them. This is really good. You don't necessarily also need the double stick tape, but I just added it in because they can spread through and look that all the cards are different, right? They take this under the table. This is the double facer. They cut anywhere, turn it over, spread through, and now their card is the first down card is the force card. The reason I use double stick tape, and I should have shown, is that I can show that this has a regular back to it as well. So when you spread either direction, boom, 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 this is here, and everything looks completely normal. So if you think about that from a layman's perspective, it's a really, really fooling piece of card magic. They can spread through and see they're all different. They just take them out of view and cut them, turn them over, spread to where they've turned, and now they can see the one card they cut to was the Two of Hearts. So I've been playing with that recently, inspired by some piece of magic, and I don't want to name the piece of magic that I'm inspired by on it because it may expose elements of stuff to people watching this that don't know it, but people will potentially notice it, but don't comment it in the comments because we don't want to expose other people. It's not, well, it's different, very different, but also inspired. So I don't know, do you guys like that? Do you think that was do you think that was kind of cool or not? I'm gonna, as you guys are replying, I'll drink some coffee and read some of these comments. So many coming in today. All right, I'll show you guys. I'll show you Brazen as well. The card slide that gave me the euphoric feeling. I haven't done this in such a long time, but I will give it a go. It's called the Sand Switch. So we'll use 2 red queens because they're right here, and we'll place an X card between them. So the X card is the 2 of spades. Yep, 2 of spades. We'll turn it over. That was a terrible, terrible choice of card changes. Let's do it again. So we got the 2 of diamonds, another 2. 2 of hearts. We've had the 2 of spades, 2 of clubs. We'll turn that over and show us the 10 of spades completely clean. So that's an old thing called the Sand Switch that I created. And there's a million different uses you can do with it. And I just love the versatility of the move. So yeah, if you guys want to see, I think a lot of you I've shown you guys this before on the chat. But if you want to learn it, let me know and I'll just show it. Okie dokie, I'm trying to catch up so many comments here. All right, yes, I love it. That was awesome. That was really cool. Very cool. Thanks. Love the new videos and the studio setup. So good. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thanks for the comments on the studio as well. Put about 3 hours of hard work into this. Morgan May has a great question here. It says, does anyone have any good slight recommendations for reversing the bottom card in front of the spectator? So, I mean, the classic way of doing this is sort of like a Ken Krenzel 1 card pass or a half pass, basically with a 1 card half pass. The way that would look is if we're going to reverse that 4 of diamonds. Now, I haven't done this in such a long time, but that's one way of doing it. I think I just flashed a little bit. You can kind of do it. Let me show you one more time. We'll use the Queen of Clubs. So the Queen of Clubs is there. And in the action of chatting, I'm flashing it on the side. Let me try that again. So in the action of chatting, you can reverse it. And what I'm doing is literally, I'm getting a buckle under the bottom card. And I'm going to lay the card along the crease of my fingers here. And as I tilt the deck up, I'm going to curl my fingers like this to flip it over. Right, it's really easy. But look at all this cover. Because the deck is here, it covers all that move. All right, so the cards are going to be essentially shifted from grip wide to my fingers there. And as I just bring the hand forward, I'm going to curl my fingers in to rotate the card and flip it up. Okay, so here it just does that. And you want to be careful like to not do what I'm doing, which is to flash it on the edge. So maybe turn to this side of it. So if we try with a different card, the 6 of clubs, I'm going to get that buckle on the bottom card, shift the cards to my side, and then reverse it like so. There we go. That's a much better angle. So 5 of spades. I'll get that buckle and reverse the card. Of course, the main thing is when you're doing this, you would do it whilst chatting. So the move, and this is the most important thing with card slides, is that you should practice them so that you can proficiently do them. So that means you can do them without looking. So that you can talk to your audience when the sleights are happening. You don't want the audience to be looking at you or looking at your hands when the moves are happening. All these card slides should be taking place when you're having a discussion. And if the audience is focusing on the cards whilst you're doing the moves instead of you, then you're not doing your job properly. And I do get it though. There are audience members that are just going to completely burn you. But in those situations, it comes from a lot of performance experience where you'll just need to sort of get them to not, or that's when you can rely on your sleight of hand ability to fully take over. But I find that things such as the pass, it is invisible because you should only do it when they're not even looking at you. You know, they should happen in the peripheral. Like I'm doing these passes kind of off screen right now, and that's sort of how the spectator should perceive them, is that nothing's happening. Or, you know, your hands are just doing something regular while you're having a discussion. So Morgamay, does that help? Also, you can reverse cards to the bottom from the center of the deck too. For example, like this. If you want to get that 8 of hearts face up and bottom, you can do it with like a Cardini sort of change from there. Phantom O says, hey, really love your content. Help me grow as a magician. Thank you very much for tuning in, man. Thank you so much, dude. Liam Lebanon says, what is your go-to mentalism impromptu card trick? Oh, this is a good question. I thought you were going to say, what is my go-to mentalism trick? But impromptu card trick is probably... There's so many, and there's so many that are not fun. But I'd say in the real world, it's probably this. I would take someone's deck. Oh, you can see me on camera. Give it a shuffle. I'd hand it to them and I'd say, think of a number between 10 and 20, but make it a big, difficult one. So actually someone comment down below, whatever the first number is, I'll just use that. So maybe there's like a 30-second delay as that comes in. As I'm waiting. Hi Marius, how you doing, buddy? We've got the Glubix in, we've got Carl Test. King Ok's in the chat. Jan Franco Asia. And there's questions coming about the Maxim app, so I'll answer those as they come in. So the very first number is 18 from Aaron R. So I hope you guys can see. So I'm going to count 18 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This is the 18th card. I'm not going to turn it over right now. I'm going to place these away. Would you be impressed? I'm going to chuck this on the floor. Would you be impressed if your card was tattooed on my arm? And think about this. You could have thought of any number in the deck. You said 18. The spectator would deal these down. These wouldn't be done in my hands. You said 18. If your card was tattooed on my arm, that would be insane, right? I'll move these cards out of the way. So I would then, so they'd look at this card, whatever it is. They'd remember it here. And I'd say, boom, your card is tattooed on my arm. But then I'd say, whoa, your card was what was it? The King of Clubs? So that's crazy because it actually says King Clubs as a kicker. So, yeah, that's one of the things I do impromptu all the time with a deck of cards. Mentalism kind of like sets people, again, it's like a fun trick to do, even though it's not hardcore mentalism, but it is a lot of fun to perform. That's what I'll do, like a bar environment. If I've really got a chance to sit down and get people's attention, I'll do Out of This World, pretty much the Harry Lorraine version. All right, I'm going to go back up through the comments and catch where I was. So Fiddlin' Johnny's here. What's going on, buddy? Man, there's so many. How is there so many comments today? Okay, what's it? So I don't know if you guys like that routine at all or not, but I hope you did. Darcy Zhang says best routines using a stranger card that is not Red Hot Mama. Let me have a think. I'll show you what I was sort of playing with last week. I don't know if I showed you guys or not. Let me get a stranger card. Let's do it. Let me grab some cards. Alright. So, this is for Darcy Zhang. I can't really remember this routine, but this is a fun routine to do. So, stranger card placed in my pocket. I hope I don't screw this up because I haven't practiced this. And a card is selected at random, so let's just go for this card. Okay, so they can remember this card. It's going to go into the deck, like so. You can all see. And we'll take the stranger card out of the pocket and show that it was the selected card, the 7 of spades. The fun thing that you can do here is that if I just take that 7 and wave, the entire deck now becomes black. I completely didn't get that whole routine right, and I flashed everything, but you get the idea. Yeah, so if you have a stranger card, it's nice to switch a deck in. I just switched these for black cherries, placing one on top. Stranger card in the pocket. Have a card selected for freely, so like the 9 of diamonds. I use the Premier control to get it to the top without flashing the back, and then steal it off into palm. And then push this card into my pocket as I reveal their card is the one odd card in the deck. And then I can just get a double here or do anything I want, like snap and show all these cards have now changed. So it's a bit of like an interesting take on the stranger card. I'll see if I can get through the routine without flashing every darn time. So card here, say stop. They stop me on this card, which gets lost into the deck. We take this card out of the pocket. It's the Jack of Diamonds. Snap. Now every card in the deck has become black. Yeah, bit of a fun routine. That's something I've been practicing lately with a stranger card, just sort of flipping it on its head a little bit, kind of. I actually don't even know if that qualifies or quantifies so much. Dr. Don's got a great piece of advice. To make silent, if necessary, find the slow practice when cognizant of the noise will yield the desired noise when sped up. Very, very true. Aziz Adesina, do I perform anything from If an Octopus Could Palm? I'd like to see me do Undertow. I don't do anything from If an Octopus Could Palm. I don't even know how to practice Undertow. I've been in New York with Tony Chang, and I've seen him do it on spectators for real, but not for me. I just suck at it. I seen Tony do this thing where like the spectator holds the card like this, and then he gets the card palmed, and then does Undertow as he turns the card over from their hands. It's the most insane piece of sleight of hand that I've ever seen. Brazen says, call in the building, blessings and respect from the UK. Any questions you have, don't be afraid to ask. Lloyd and people in the chat will help. Yeah, for sure, man. And by the way, guys, drop some likes on the video if you like the direction of this Sunday service, because we talk a lot in these Sunday services. We have some guests on these Sunday services, but this is a really much more focused card jam, which is kind of the whole reason why I started these, was to have more focused jams on moves and magic. Yeah, King OK, you got on the live, buddy. Stu says, well, great explanation. One in particular would be a color change. Don't know what it's called. Double lift, then pull the top card to the bottom of the deck, if that makes sense. So, oh yeah, okay. So this is Stu. Stu is talking about silent moves, and I think you're talking about like a Cardini change, where the card changes like this, and you're worried about the sound on it, right? So the way I mask the sound is by adding the sound. So you'll notice there, I'm flicking the top corner. I'm aiming for that top border of the card as I do the move. So as I flick, see, you're going to hear that sound. But if I aim and try and flick louder, it masks it. So you get that sound of it changing. And then also you're going to hear it as it goes under the deck. So change, and then yeah, you just got to try and sort of maneuver that quietly. But one thing I find is that when you're performing, it's often not as in a dead pitch silent environment. And that's something I always take into consideration when I create and I perform magic, is that you can use your surroundings to your advantage, and you should use your surroundings to your advantage. So don't worry if you're adding things like flicking to add noise to the move, to artificially mask the moves. Then also, like, you have to remember that in your environment, you should then sort of be covered post effect. That kind of makes sense. It doesn't really make sense to me, but it's what my head is saying to me. Matthew Brayman says, I actually downloaded your Scarlet utility earlier today. Give me so much practice. Thank you for downloading it, man. I hope you enjoy it. Magic Blueprint says, what's the best routine closer with cards? For me, I put up a trick on my effect called it was the Biddle trick, my version of the Biddle trick. So it's on my page. I actually teach it on my channel too. Go and find it. It's me and my wife. It's an episode of Fooler with Kaylee. And it starts off like a normal Biddle trick. And then it roundhouse kicks you in the face. Then when you're dead on the floor, it stamps on your head. And then when they're cremating your body, it decides to throw up a tornado and scatter the ashes into a terrible parking lot. It's sort of like, it starts off like the Biddle trick, and then it just goes boom, boom, boom. That's a trick that I've been having tremendous success with while closing. And I wish I had much more of a creative answer, but for a card piece, I've always used Out of This World as a closing effect. Stephen Leithwaite's principle, Stephen Leithwaite's handling of Out of This World, which is very similar to Leonard Green's, or one of Leonard Green's handlings of Out of This World. It's stone cold stunner, and what I love most about it with Leithwaite's version is that you could show the deck face up at the beginning and show the mix. And one tip that I use is that I actually have the spectators photograph the face up deck before they square the cards up, and they photograph it on their phone before they square the cards up and go into the effect. Because the one thing that I found with Out of This World is that people think they don't know what the order is, but they think there's a special order. With Leithwaite's, you can show it face up, and then secondly, having them on their phone take that photo, it's a beautiful moment, because I always find people jump straight back after it to look at their phone to remember that, which is crazy. But and I tend a lot to get tears from that. Glubik says, JC Wagner's Super Closer is good. I don't know if I know what that is. Miko Luco says, greatest no setup card tricks would be great. All right, greatest no setup. Greatest no setup card trick. Biddle trick is a fantastic no setup card trick, because you can just take the deck, go into it from there. Here's an interesting one, which is for the ballsier ones of you out there, right? So this is no setup, but it may work. So I'm going to truly shuffle the deck. Now this might not work, right? But you kind of have to just think on your feet a little bit. So I'm going to shuffle these cards for real, right? And you can always tell magicians doing a real shuffle, but they do an overhand shuffle. But I'm doing a genuine real shuffle, okay? So shuffle, 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 barrows, riffle shuffles, you name it, whatever, okay? Now, someone's going to say stop. So I'd run through the cards like this and have somebody say stop whenever they like, okay? Let's say they stop me on this card, okay? This card will get left in the deck, and that's truly shuffled. And now I would say you're going to spell to your card. And if we've done our jobs correctly, then the card should be at that position. Which sounds a little bit crazy to say. So we'll go, we can do the 10 of hearts or 10 of hearts. It's up to you guys. I don't know what you're going to say, but maybe we'll do the 10 of hearts. Okay, so THENOFHEARTS, the 10 of hearts. Completely impromptu from a completely shuffled deck, no setup. Yeah, and that's a really fun trick to do to completely fry people on the fly. I don't. Glubik says, "Can I show the Solomon slip?" I don't know what that is, man. Thanks, Pastor Barnes. Says Fiddlin' Johnny. Paul Perez says, "What's my process when creating a magic trick?" I tell you what, I'm gonna do a video, I think, on my creative process and how to be more creative. But I think because we're focusing on card tricks today and card sleights, I'm gonna answer that at another. I'm gonna create that video and put it online at a different time, just so we don't lose track. Because I don't have a lot of time today. All right. Okay, Magic says, "Happy Sunday, everyone." Matthew Braitman says, "Like yourself, my hands are on the smaller side. Any tips to keep in mind?" Well, I didn't think I had small hands. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, bunch of tips, man. So you'll notice actually that I can't palm very well. So if I show you something like one hand top palm, right? Where is the card? So here, one hand top palm. If you actually look at my palm, it is sticking out the side. Like I cannot palm cards. And the two palms that I use the most are the Gambler's Cop and a classic, well, a variation of the classic palm. So I'm palming both the cards, but you'll notice that they stick out. Palming is about your how what's the word? It's about your like body positioning, more so about the perfection of the hands. Like I cannot classic palm. My hand does not grip between my pinky and my hand like it should, like for other people. So I modify it. My classic palm is actually grip between my index finger and thumb here, which means you can actually always see the card a little bit. But because and you can always see it from the side, for me, forever, this will never change. But because I know this is my issue, I work on my angle. So I know that if I palm like this, it's gonna get seen, right? But what I do is I turn, because I'll always turn to hide my palming windows, so to speak, on my flashes, and it's all about how your attitude. So if you can be relaxed, they're not going to look at you. So for example, if I'm palming a card, and I'm like I'm trying to show on camera, if I'm palming a card and I'm just waiting here dirty, you can see that you can see through the fingers. That's not even a small hand issue. That's just a laziness issue. They're going to kind of feel it. But if I do that same thing where let me get it. This deck is so old. Where I get a card and I just sort of like chill and like put my hand on my leg, I'm wearing shorts, or casually drop my arms by my side, or even hold them on the shoulder so they can't see my hand, then they're not looking, or my palming is in their peripheral vision and I'm relaxed and I'm not feeling like I'm palming. Does that make sense? If you feel like you're palming, you're all tight and your shoulders are bunched up, they're going to be looking at you. But if when you're palming, you're casual, and your hands are chilled and you're doing something with them, like with a Gambler's Cop, for example, if your hand is swinging by your side, it's less likely to draw attention than if I see a lot of magicians Gambler's Cop like this, right? But if you're just casual with it, you're not going to get caught. And look at that. That thing is just hanging out the back of my hand. Windows and all. So palming with small hands, I'm no master at it, but I am confident with my sort of acting ability, if that kind of translates well. King OK says, "Lloyd, what's your favorite blank card, blank deck trick?" So I think the biddle trick that I posted, or my variation of the biddle trick, is a really good one. But of course, that's egotistical to say. So I like, obviously, the quantum deck is insane, actually insane. And I also love Imagination by Taiwan G from Taiwan. I put a performance of that up on my channel. One of the first episodes of Fula. You just take a blank card, you fold it in four, they sign it, they think of a card, and they unfold the blank card that they've signed, and it's now their card printed on the back with the back design and the face. Insane. So I'm going to read some comments to catch up a little bit. Thank you, Rory. I didn't see that coming in. Bloody hell. Thank you, mate, for the peach emoji. And thank you, Drew, none1. Guys, thank you for the I don't know what they're called, super chats. How'd you do this? Super chats or the tips. Like, I really appreciate them. They go a really long way, guys. Thank you so much. And Rory, what's going on? It says you tipped in Canadian dollars. Are you in Canada right now? Knowing you, you're probably somewhere in the world. For those of you that haven't done so already, go and check out oneahead.com. Rory is one of the world's leading magic consultants, my favorite magic consultant, and he writes a blog on consulting in magic that actually gives you the real behind the scenes knowledge that you need to know. For example, one of the articles he posted this week was how they really get duplicate signatures on TV. Fascinating, worth every single penny. Go and sign up today, oneahead.com. The price of the subscription is literally like a coffee. Anyone that wants to get more creative, somebody asked earlier how to get more creative, oneahead.com. Go and sign up. It's fantastic. Okay, there's so many comments and I'm like trying to jump back and forth. Where am I? Wow. Double face. Great card council. For a force, check out Christian Grace's Hoffman's a handout force. I don't think I've seen that. I need to check that out. Voice is a little low. Okay, I'll try and talk a little bit louder. All right. Okay. All right. So you guys, okay, I'm at the point where you guys are commenting on the double face card force. I have not looked, Brendan. I have not looked into the Rise Magic playing cards yet, but I will totally check them out when I get a chance. And I will answer questions about Maxim in a little bit. Mark said that double face card force is fooling totally. Thank you. That's awesome. Like the new videos in the studio. Pugu72 says, hey Lloyd, big fan of your gimmicks and gaffs. Any chance of a video on any tips and tricks, do's and don'ts you can pass on? A builder's masterclass. Yeah, I could totally do a builder's masterclass. Although I will say, I am not a master builder. Like you'll notice that when the card gimmicks I build are so ropey. I'm not a professional gimmick builder. Someone like Jeremy Hanrahan is. I just sort of get them working to a level, and then normally I would like pass them off to somebody to make professionally for me. Glubik says, the Red Herring by Ben Earls, one of his go-to tricks. Yes, totally is. And King OK says, can you do the sand switch face up? Yes, I can. Let me see. So let's use, I have to remember how to do this now. Okay, so let's put the 8 of clubs between the 5 of hearts and the King of hearts. We'll turn it face down. That was a really bad one. Let's try again. I'll put these 2 cards face down so you can see. And we'll cut and we'll use a different card. So the 8 of clubs is there. And I'm going to switch it for the Jack of spades. I need to get better at my own move. So we'll switch that Jack again for the 8 of clubs. So there's the Jack. And it switches for the 8. But what's nice with the sand switch that you can like change cards and hide the back design as you're doing it as well, and things like that, which is really fun. I'm going to answer the question by None and One because he's tipped in the super chat. So if you want your questions answered for sure above everyone else, then you can do the, I think it's called a super chat thing or the support thing, and then I can answer them quicker. Because I saw your video, so Drew, None and One says, I saw your video on your favorite decks and didn't include the ones you created. Can you show me some of yours and where you can buy them? Yeah, man. So I've created a few decks. This one is the Moonshine playing cards. These are a bit more pricey. This is the 3rd print edition, or the 3rd edition. They've sold out, I think this Moonshine in total, I think 5 or 6 times now in total around the world. These ones are marked. So you see you've got that custom Ace of Spades that people get tattooed on them and things like that. And got my logo on it. And then this is the deck. I don't know if you can see, but you can see there's a marking system. Let me turn that blur off, you guys. You can see the marking system here. It's actually really bold and really easy to read. And the cards themselves just have a really, one of the reasons I got discovered a little bit was because of these Moonshine cards. The stock and the feel that we use for them is really unique. It makes them really light and really snappy and very crisp to use. So this is the Moonshines, and these decks are the Vintage Elixir. They're the 3rd edition, and you'll notice there's things like secret binary codes, and little enigmas hidden all over them because there is a secret treasure hunt built into the design of the cards, which is pretty fun. So they're available in a lot of magic shops. Just search for them online. Then we have the Moonshine Midnight Edition, which is black with gloss, and they come out black. This is actually the only deck that I have because these are all gone, and they're sealed. I don't know where you can buy them. Maybe, I don't know where. They're called the Midnight Edition. And then I created some decks, other decks like the Cohort Gaff system, which I released through Illusionist, but I would hold off on anyone buying them because there's something better coming. So I wouldn't necessarily go and purchase anything from there, but I would keep your eyes peeled on my socials and this and that. All right. Thanks, Jan, for saying that you love my style and my magic. Darcy Zhang says, for your card force idea, just turn over the second and third card and achieve the same thing. You can do that, right? So you don't need a double facer. So you mean second and third card like this, right? So they cut anywhere they spread through. The problem is the spectator's doing the spreading, so they're just going to flash or accidentally flash this card. And since this is a trick done in their hands, you need to be 100% sure that they're not going to expose the method. Do I have Discord? I have Discord, I just do not use it. Bluebick says, am I a member of the family? I'm not a member of the family. Chris James says, right now I've been messing a lot with reverse spreads for forcing ideas from the Kenner lecture. That's interesting. I think, I think there's Lee Asher's Pulp Friction. I remember reading that booklet a long, long time ago, and it sort of blew my mind that it was such a unique thing. Brendan says, could you do a backflip like I did on Instagram? Yeah, I would. I would totally do a backflip on the floor because that's like my party trick years ago. I did a 10k run today, and I don't know what I've done, but I've messed my foot up, so I can't really walk very well at the minute. Listen to Brazen, he says, smash that like button. Rich Relish is, hey Rich, oh man, I need to get in touch with you. I need to have a catch up with you. Any tips for peeking a chosen card? Such a great question. And so I use a tip, which I use a few different peaks, but the main one that I use is one that I seen by Dan White called Everyone's Peak, because he calls it that because he thought he'd invented it, then he showed it to somebody else, then they thought they'd invented it. And it turns out it's just one of those peaks that everyone thinks they've invented at a different time, or different times. So you just say to somebody, say stop, they remember that card, and you lose it in the deck, and I know it's the Ten of Hearts. And all it is that I'm looking at the card faces they go past, and when they say stop, I just turn away. And it's got to be the most fooling card force I've ever used, or at least most practical and fooling. But here's one that I absolutely adore. And it's my sort of take on a classic card force. You'll all know it from David Blaine doing this on TV, and then snap change, whatever. But this is one which this is the way I do it, which is 100% surefire, and I don't know, I just love doing it. So I'll just say, and I'm going to look away so I can't see the screen, but think of any card you see, but not the first one, okay? So I don't know if this is going to pick up on camera or not. Did everyone get one? Was that too fast? Either way, the first one should have been the Three of Spades that you see. If I do it again, maybe the Three of Spades again. Let's try and shuffle the deck. So look at one card, not this one. I'll look away so I can't see. And that should have been the Jack of Diamonds, depending on the lag. And that's just one way I've done it for years. And all it is that I say I'm looking away, and I'm just literally looking at the deck like that. And I riffle through, and I just pause for a second. So I'm watching the replay of the video because I can sort of see on my screen a couple of seconds after it happens. But yeah, all I'm doing is I flick through, and I just stop a little bit on one. And then whatever card I see for a force is the card that I know they see. And I just sort of look away and gypsy peek the cards and do that. But they think I'm looking away anyway, and it doesn't. And I just think it's a lot nicer than trying to force that last card. like that, which has always been, seems like a bit too obvious for me, even though, you know, it sort of works. I prefer doing it that way. I'm trying to catch up with all the blimey comments. All right. Fiddling Johnny, yes, man. Hold off on running until your foot is better. Don't want you to get plantar fasciitis. I can't say that properly, but that's what happened, man. I had it on my right foot after doing a half marathon. Rested on it for 2 weeks. No, I had it on my right foot. Then rested on it for 2 weeks. Built it up. Waited a few weeks. Did a half marathon. Got it on my left foot. I've left that for 2 weeks, and now it's fine. I did some running throughout the week, no pain, and then I went for a run today, and it just sort of popped. Well, it went numb, and then after I got home, I can't walk on it, which sucks. But all right, man. There's too many comments. As I'm reading these comments, drop some likes on the video for me, so I can see how many of us are actually like here. This is a great question by Nun1, which is Drew. And he says, for the real amateur like myself, even with arthritis, which sleights should I perfect first to get the most bang for buck before learning others? This is such a brilliant question. And I'll tell you my thoughts on it. The more magic I perform, the longer I'm in magic, the more I perform, the less sleight of hands that I use. I said earlier, the card force that I use the most is the cross-cut force, where the spectator cuts and marks it at an angle. That is, I said it earlier, it's not a lie, that is my number one go-to card force. And the way you can get that to be feeling even more powerful is if you use an OC cut, you know, a JOC cut, where they cut 1/3 there, 1/3 there, and then the last third to the side, and they collect it up what they think is in a random order, but they go boom, boom, boom. That's spelled JOC cut, so OSE cut. Just search YouTube, and there's 1,000 tutorials on it. So you can start with the card that you're going to force on top. They take the deck, they cut 3 piles, they collect it up so they think they've shuffled it. Then do the cross-cut force, and that's my number one force. I think it was it Marlowe or Di Vernon that said you need 3 things. You need a good force, a good double lift, and a good palm, in that order, and you can achieve miracles. So the force I would use is that. Double lift is the one card control, sleight-wise, I'd say you need to learn. The best way I've always found for beginners to do it is to, when they have the deck, is to pick up 2 cards at the back. So literally, pick up 2 cards at the back and just let it rest on your finger. And you can see, I would assume, I know with arthritis it can be difficult, but I'm not really doing anything here with my hand that should make it difficult. You know, I'm just, as long as you can hold the deck, and I can rest these 2 cards then on my pinky finger. And then from here, you don't need to get fancy and do all these weird things. You can come over at the back, grab the cards as one and show it like that. Place it on top. And then you can put it in the middle. Like, it doesn't matter how you put it in. You can take it like this. You can pick it back up the same way. And either way, place it in the center of the deck, and you've controlled it to the top. So those are 2 moves, which a double lift, you can achieve miracles with a double lift. And if you can force, then you've got, and you can, they can force themselves. You can do a million different things. But one thing that I would say then is, with those 2 sleights in mind, you can write, one thing I do anyway is have a prediction written in my wallet. So if you're going to force the 3 of hearts, you could have them cut and force the 3 of hearts on themselves from a cross-cut force, and then have them shuffle it in, so they can shuffle it into the deck, and then reveal it with the prediction written down in your wallet later on, which is always a really strong trick, and we always overestimate how good at how big, or how we should always overestimate as magicians, I think, how technical we need to make these tricks. But the reality is, for a layman, these things are very, very impressive. And then with something like a double lift, if you can do a key card, if you know what the key card is, so they can, if you get them to cut the deck, remember this random card, put it in, and then place a key card on top, you can then go through and say, I think I've found your card. And you're going to cut to that key card. You're going to cut that key card back to the face. Say, I think this is your card. Now you're going to do the double lift. 1, 2. Say, I think this is your card. Have them hold their hand out. Place that card in their hand now, and it's changed to their card. So from their point of view, they've picked a card. They've lost it in the deck. You've taken the wrong card, and then it's changed in their hand, all with minimal sleight of hand on your behalf. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers the question a little bit. King, okay, have a good time, man. Oh, Phil and John, you kept running with it and it's never been the same. Yikes. Brendan Latkovich says, Lloyd, I know you're running a good distance, but wondering what was your pace if you don't want to say. So at the minute I'm running in I'm trying to run in zones, in like heart rate zones. So when I did the half marathon, I did it it's my very first one. I did it super slow. So I did 21.3 or whatever, 21.1 kilometers. And I did that in 2 hours, 5 minutes, just trying to keep in that like third zone as much as possible. But I think if I actually went again, I'd be aiming for like a 1 hour 45, 1 hour 40 half marathon. For a 10K, this was my first one back after injury. So I did that in 53 minutes. Oh, my phone's there. It was 53 minutes and 45 seconds. So again, pretty slow, just chilling on it. And then I think my fastest 5K was 23 minutes when I was trying to do it. So I don't know. I don't think that's very good. I'm an ex-fat person. So many comments. I can't get over it. So what is your impromptu trick without cards? Solomaka Solo UFO asks, well, I will answer that, but in a different video because this is all about playing cards today. James M says, ambergram tattoo required though. Yes. And this is my own custom, again, ambergram tattoo. What is your favorite trick without cards? Okay. What's the best book for Slightly in your opinion? I think, Stu, do you mean what's my best book for Sleights in my opinion? I'm trying to think. I really don't know. Anything. Marlowe. It's got Marlowe, Vernon books are all fantastic researches. A lot of people love Ernest Eric's book. I always get that wrong, that name. It's tricky because I'm not exactly a move monkey. I used to be more of a move monkey, but I'm not so much anymore. I just try to hone in and make my core slides more focused. Tequila Collector says, have you thought about doing an impromptu magic project? Bar Magic EDC. I have thought about that. I will probably do something like that one day. Completely impromptu EDC magic. Because I live EDC, my magic. When I leave the house, I can do so much stuff with so little on me. Brendan says, have you used your Scarlet utility for a force since you have used it for a color change? I don't think I have used it for a force. That's super interesting. Dr. Don says, as an amateur with arthritis, maybe look at some self-workers. Many strong and require no knuckle busters, allowing focus on presentation, but look at crosscut force, a palm and a double. Yeah. Exactly, Dr. Don, you've hit the nail on the head. Semi-automatic card tricks or fully self-working card tricks are probably some of my favorite magic to sit down and perform. I'm trying to think if I know any off the top of my head. I know a few, but they're not mine to teach, and you know that we don't teach other people's material on this channel, but I think Carl Fulves has like a collection of 5 or 6, maybe more books on self-working card tricks. And his name's spelled with a K, Karfulves. Carl Fulves self-working card tricks are amazing. And look at Verbal Magic by Juan Tamariz. He has some incredible stuff there, which is all magic done with cards over the phone or essentially hands off. So they do all the effects, and it's Tamariz strength magic, but it's all hands off, so you don't even need to do anything. Magic Blueprint says, where can I learn that ACAN routine that you did earlier? I did 2. Was it the spelling one or the one with the card tattoo? Brazen Magic says, talking about rules, if this is a Sunday service, what are your personal 10 commandments, do's and don'ts of magic? That's a banger of a question, dude. That's such a good question. I think I should probably make a video from that. I should probably do a video on my 10 commandments of magic. Because I could probably make a list of 100. What's that change called? I've just come back from B. Was that the Cardini change? That one? Was it that? Brendan Lakovich says, speaking on using palms for forces, do you have any interest in unique takes of using a palm as a switch or force? Yeah, I do. So one of them is something I call the CPR force. So I use something called, because I can't classic palm, I clip it here, but clipping it between my index and thumb allows me to replace the card on top of the deck one-handed, which a normal force doesn't really allow you to do. So I call it the classic palm replacement, CPR, right? So that looks, if I turn a card over, that looks like that, okay? That's just covering it with a shake, but basically it's this. Because it's beyond the hinge of my thumb. So with that in mind, one thing that I've done in the past is have somebody, I can palm a card, so say we're going to do the three of spades. Somebody can cut the deck and place it down. I can then come over and complete the deck as I replace that three. So if I show you face up. So I say to somebody, cut as many cards as you like. They cut, say, this many to the table. And as I complete that cut, I can replace that three on top, and then that will be the force card. So in essence, it looks like they cut the deck, I complete it for them and say, this is the card you've cut to, fair. The other thing you can do is have somebody cut the deck and hand it to you. So say they cut this many cards. That's the card that they think they're going to see. Because I've palmed up the king, they're going to cut a random amount. They hand this pile to you and you say, look, remember the card that you cut to. And that's just replacing a cop card onto the deck. So that's like two ways you can quickly think about like using palms for forces or switches. Marius Marowaski says, how long have I been doing Magic? I've been doing Magic since I was 5, or at least interested in it since I was 5. Started taking it more seriously when I was around the age of 16, 15, I don't know. More interested when I was like 14, 13, but getting really, really, really into it like 16-ish. Quentin Scott says, I created a card control years ago and haven't seen it anywhere before. I've asked a few magicians about it and they haven't seen it anywhere either. Can I DM you a video of it? Kind of clunky. Yeah, Quentin, please do. That'd be awesome to see. I've been practicing getting into Undertow for about a month and I think I've gotten into a good position. I just do it while I'm fiddling with cards. I'll probably tag you on Facebook. That'd be cool. Yeah, I love seeing people do Undertow well because I suck at it. Aaron R, how do you know you've actually created a move? That's such a good question. Basically, refine it to the point where, you know, it looks great, and then show as many magicians as you can and research it. So if it's a card switch and it's done with a card in classic palm and the card on the table is the one that switched, then use resources like Dennis Bear's archive or the Conjuring Arts Research Center, and just search with keywords on the internet, the Magic Cafe, things like classic palm, switch, tabletop, things like that, and show other magicians and really like hammer down trying to discover that thing, and always assume that the card sleights been done before, because I find this the craziest stuff that I think is like, okay, there's no one's created this, has been done many times before. So always approach card sleights as if it definitely has been done before, and all you're trying to do is hunt down the correct person. And if you spend a long time doing that and find that there's just no one, then you can be comfortable, or at least confident that you created it, but then don't be surprised when you find out it has been done before anyway. Hello from Kingston, Ontario, Canada. What's up, man? Yes, Rory's in the chat. I don't know, is Rory still here? I'm trying to catch up with these comments. So you've been doing Facebook decks, didn't include the ones you got. Check Conjuring Archive. That's a great, yeah. Dr. Don is on top of this, man. Erica Dvorsak asks, hello Lloyd, what's your favorite in the hands false shuffle? It's a great question. I love the Truffle Shuffle by Derek Delgadio. So with a deck that's in stack anyway, you can, this deck is so beat up and worn. Look at the edges on this deck. I'll try it with these, but they might go everywhere. So it looks kind of like this, and that's a false shuffle. So of course I can't teach it because it's Derek Delgadio's, and I think you can buy it from a bunch of places, but it looks like an in-hand riffle shuffle. The one thing I'll say about it is that I find it best to do this shuffle when you're talking to people. So I'd bring the deck out of the case, and I wouldn't start my effect. I would just very casually continue speaking to them, blah, 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 like, how's your day, or what do you do for a living, or my name is Lloyd, are you from around this area, have you seen any magic before? And I would do that shuffle like as I'm maintaining eye contact with the people. because what sells this is the optics and the audible sound of it. Because everyone has seen this shuffle before. Like every layman has seen that shuffle. They all try to do it, or a lot of them do. So just seeing that peripherally with the understanding that you're going to show them magic and hearing it peripherally really, really hammers down the illusion that you're really doing it. And it looks like you're doing it too. But in reality, it's completely fake. So there has been other people that have published this move before. And to the untrained eye, it might look real, but I'll try and not to like expose it. But what's secretly happening in slow motion is that sort of thing. So I like to use that. There's two other in the hands false shuffles that I like. One is that if I'm going to go into stack, I will, before I begin, anti-faro my stack. So I'll take every other card out, strip those cards out, and place the deck together. And then when I'm about to begin, and you'll see me do this in a lot of my videos, that I'll faro those cards in, which then farrows them into stack. Which is, from a spectator's point of view, if you imagine I come out, I take a deck, they see me do this shuffle, then they're going to see me do the truffle shuffle, like this, and then you can do another false shuffle, for example, like a false overhand, like that. Those three shuffles combined, because like the faro one is a real shuffle, you're just shuffling it into stack. And then the truffle shuffle and the overhand shuffle are just extra convincers. They should never believe ever again that you use stack. So I'm really, like, those are the three that I use on a regular basis. And that overhand shuffle is basically you cut the deck here and you count 5 cards, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and you swap halves and then reshuffle those 5s, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And what I like about that is that they see cards getting shuffled into the center of the deck, essentially. So it feels like it's more random. So I hope that helped. I don't know if you guys have any better suggestions for in the hands false shuffles, but yeah, it'd be cool to hear you guys' thoughts on it too. Tequila Collector says, what's your favorite magic theory books? I don't have a lot of magic theory books, but I do love the essay from The Art of Astonishment, and Eric Mead's got some good stuff in The Tangled Web, if my memory serves me correctly. I'm so sorry, I can't pronounce your name, but it says, could you show me some of your favorite cardistry? I don't do cardistry, dude. I'm so sorry. I can try and do Sybil stuff, but it's not for me. Gerson, do you have any tips on the backhand palm where you can show your palm empty, then grab a card from midair? Do you know what, man? I think I mentioned this last week. It's the one move that I suck at. Like, I've never been able to do it well. I can't do it that good. So I wouldn't want to give tips on it. But I've always wanted to be able to show my hand front and back, but I just can't do it. Let me try. So here, gone. I've always done this thing where I spread my fingers to make it look more convincing, but I'm guessing like everyone does that probably, so you can go. I wouldn't like to give tips on it though, because I do suck at it. Dev Rajaguru says, how do you act like you're not cheating anyone? I easily get caught if someone looks me in the eye. This is like such an important question, and I think more of us should be thinking about these types of questions and thinking about this when you're performing, because magicians should be the best actors in the world. In the UK, there was a program called Britain's Got Talent, and there was an act called The Witch, right, where this person was in costume like a witch. But the act was very scary, genuinely scary to a normal person. And to do that on a stage is like really difficult, because as adults you don't get scared of people in costumes, but their acting was so good. And what they did was a magic act, and everyone was asking the question, who is the witch? Which magician is the witch? And I can't confirm or deny, but what I said is there's no way that magician was that witch was a magician. They must have been an actor, because I don't know any magician that's that good at acting, and our job should be acting, and then the magic second, because it's all about conveying the that what you're that basically you're like a duck, right? When you want to convey that when you're doing something dirty, you're not, and when you're and you know it's all about focus and attention. So you really want to be sort of conveying the opposite emotions and feelings and tensions when you're doing the opposite with your hands and the rest of your body. But there's a book called The 5 Points of Magic by Juan Tamariz, which will really give you some good points on this. But the way that I find that pardon me, is the best way to convince people you're not cheating is with your body language. So when you're going to do a pass, most people will hunch their shoulders up and do the move, right? Or when you're going to do a top change, people will get ready for it and then do the top change, right? Or they'll tend to have hiccups when they do Sleights. And really, you want to do the opposite of that. So think about how you act when you don't have the cards in your hand, when you're talking to your friends. When there's a moment when no one's talking to you in the conversation, you relax your shoulders and you come out of it, but you don't lean in, you come back and you take a breath and you breathe out. That's when you should be doing your moves. That's when you should be doing the dirty work, is when you're casual. So instead of doing the pass here, you want to get the card ready and then wait, relax a bit. I've still got my pinky break. I can talk whatever. I can then do the pass casually and then go into it. So that's a way of starting your approach on how to not feel like you're cheating people, is to not convey that you're cheating. It's to break that tension and work those beats of when you feel like there's no heat on you. So like one other thing is, when you talk to people, you tend to face them as you're talking to them. And if you're in a group of people, you'll turn and talk to them. So if you want to do a move, then have your conversation, get your break or your get ready, and then allow someone else to speak, and don't face them so they don't face you. And then you can execute the move as you turn to speak, because the heat's not on you until you get there. So it's more about, I find personally anyway, it's about body language that gets rid of the cheating guilt or magician's guilt. And I think magician's guilt is another thing. I mean, one thing is to draw attention to it, like Darren Brown, who says, I am going to cheat you. I don't really have psychic powers. I am going to cheat you. So by coming out and being upfront with it is a really good way of then sort of getting ahead of them and not feeling guilty because you told them about it. Stu Batman says, what's my thoughts on the best marked deck? For sure, it's the DMC Elites. This the best marking system in the world, bar none, for me personally. Yeah, just created by Phil Smith, DMC, both friends of mine, and major. You can see these almost from space. They're so big, but spectators just would never be able to pick them out. So, Alex Bow says, any more thoughts on a membership? On the membership, yeah, I keep toying with the idea back and forth. It was a 75% split or 70% split if you wanted the membership. Yeah, it's about like being able to produce the content for you guys, and if I was to do it, I want it to be the best one ever. You know, so you really feel like you're getting your money's worth for the membership, and then trying to figure out tiers and things. I had a good call with a friend of mine, Kavan Booth. You guys know him; he's another YouTuber, and he gave me a bunch of advice on memberships after seeing last week's stream. So if you guys still want it, then I'm very close to doing it and flipping the switch, and I'd probably have a bunch of like at least 5 exclusive tutorials ready for you all if you do want it. So comment yes to the membership below if you want it. B says, personally not a fan of your moonshine cards. That's fine. I'm not a fan of all decks. Everyone's different. They are a very particular thing. Fiddle and Johnny says, can't wait for your new gaff stuff. I'll be first in line. Oh man, yeah, I'm excited for people to see the new stuff. And I'm doing it as a collaboration with another massive creator. None says, what is an effect with a double lift that is the easiest for someone to do like me? The easiest single card or single effect with a double lift is probably what would I say is the easiest? It's just a color change. Just a very, very simple color change. Just showing one card and then snapping your fingers and having it change to another. Or, I mean, if you're going completely basic, as in you want to keep the routine very direct, you could have a card like the King of Spades be your lucky card, and you can hopefully just false shuffle it, or if it's even more basic, keep the King of Spades on top, have someone hold their hand out, show the 8 of Hearts and say, this is going to become my lucky card, which is the King of Spades. You snap and it becomes the card. We as magicians, we always try to overcomplicate things. We don't realize how powerful just changing a card in their hand. Spectators don't see magic like this. They think magic is often like the stuff on TikTok or Top Hat and Tails, where having a card change in their hand, regardless if it was chosen or named or not, is a powerful, powerful thing to experience. Oh, what is an effective double lift? Sorry, I thought you said what effect. What's an effective one? I'd say the most basic is to get the break there. I think I may have already discussed this earlier in the chat, but get the break. Just show the card, the two cards as one, with your thumb at the bottom and your middle finger at the top. Place it on top of the deck, and then you can change it just by taking that single card off. It's how I began with it. It's the most straightforward way of doing it, and requires little to zero real sleight of hand. Trying to catch up. Magic Blueprint says, have you ever messed up a magic routine on stage? I did when I was practicing one when I was like 7 years old for a talent competition, and I cried. Luckily, it was practicing in the school. That kind. But I've only ever done one real stage piece of magic. I got invited to do a TEDx talk, and did a stage thing on there using my Cypher app. Darcy Zhang has a good question. How do I carry my gaffs on and gimmick cards, and how do I load them into the deck? So what I tend to do is I'll either keep them in my wallet, but I don't really use a wallet anymore. So I would take a wallet purely for my gaffs, or I'd hide them in the cellophane on my deck, and just make sure not to flash the cellophane. And what I would tend to do is, as I place the deck away and say, oh, one more trick, I would then pull out the cards with the gaff cards from behind the cellophane. There's one more thing you can do as well, which is to keep the sticker. So let me see. Let me show you. So this sticker on card boxes, if you don't break it like that and you just slit it so you can keep this part of the sticker there, it'll become sticky, which means it'll stay sticky, which means if you put a gaff card at the top inside the deck, you can stick that sticker to the gaff card like that, tip the deck out, and that gaff card will stay hidden in the box. So very casually, you can take them out, put the deck away, say, oh, we'll do one more thing. Then you can pop the sticker off the gaff card and pour it all back out. So that's another way of doing it as well. Chad Davis says, hello, greetings from WV. Good to see you. The health movement is amazing. Had a gastric bypass myself. Wow, that's incredible, Chad. I'm glad you went for that, dude. Hope you're feeling good. Brendan says, 23 minutes is great for 5K. Great job. I know the average for people between 30 and 39 is 31 and 34 minutes. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. I'm not trying to run for speed when I go. It was like one day I felt better, so I just went for it. I think if I trained, I could definitely get those a few minutes knocked off, but I'm never going to be a professional or very good. Groot says, have to go and catch the second half of the football. Take care. Take care, dude. Enjoy the football, man. The video will be up afterwards. In addition, Phil and Johnny says, in addition to brazen magic, the 10 commandments of magic do's and don'ts, I don't want to know what are the 7 deadly sins of magic. Can you do an entire service on that? Hell yes. Guys, this is some amazing content suggestions that I'm going to be doing for y'all. Dr. Don says, Lloyd, what's your contact email? My contact email is admin@lloydbarnes.co.uk, and I will reply to you from there. Andrew Niner, congratulations on Boombox, man. That thing is a work of art. Absolute fantastic. Congratulations, my friend. And the work put into it by you and Craig and the rest of the team is stellar. Like, you should be so proud of that release. And what a release to have. Matthew Braitman says, I have a routine that I'm putting together. Can I shoot you an email later? Yeah, of course, man. Get my feedback on it. Punk BMX, there you are. I was wondering where you were at, man. Okay, the chat just jumped. So, Lloyd, I'm real late. Trying to convince a toddler to get ready for bed is harder than any trick I've had to learn. Punk BMX, you're speaking my language right now, my friend. My kid has suddenly decided that his bedtimes are now 2 hours later than I want them to be. Quentin, yeah, of course, man. Yeah, that's fine. I'll try and help you with the crediting. Brendan says, last question before I have to do my 10K. Have you used the TG Murphy deck flip as a force? Yes, I have. If not, I'd love to share my ideas with you. Have a good day. Maybe we hit Colin Cloud's pace. What's Colin Cloud's pace, Brendan? Let me know. That's going to be my goal. Yeah, I've used the TG Murphy deck flip as a force. I used it from a Garcia routine from his Garcia projects 1, 2, and 3, and that was his thing based on what's the effect? The Ice Cold A Can, Barry Richardson's move. So yeah, that's a way I've used it. Brazen says, come on guys, 50 viewers, let's get those likes. There's 52 viewers and 52 likes right now. That's pretty insane. Carl Test, small question, how often do I use card stacks? As much as I can. In fact, if I'm going to leave the house, I will have the deck ready to go in stack. I practice in stack a lot as well. Like I'll practice just keeping the deck in stack as I do as I just do normal routines. I will try to keep my deck in stack a lot. But when I leave the house, I'll start in stack. When I'm going to perform, 99% of the time I'll start in stack, and then I'll destroy the stack as I go through the rest of the routines. But often, the stuff you do with stack work is so powerful that you don't really get out of first gear until your audience is destroyed. But I start in stack, especially when performing, almost all the time, because it's basically freebies. You know, you get free miracles, and if someone says, "Hey, can I shuffle that deck?" Just let them shuffle it and do the rest of your stuff normally. Fami Mbarki says, "Is there a way to learn about jazz magic?" Yes, I posted a video about how to jazz with magic on my channel. So go through my channel. It's about 5 or 6 months ago, and it's literally called like how to jazz with a mem deck, I think. I can't pronounce your name, I'm very sorry, but it says, do I use the classic pass? I very rarely do, very rarely do, but I'm not against it. But I find that the reason I don't is that so many magicians, I see them do this, right, with a classic pass. They'll have a card selected like that, so it's the 2 of hearts, and then they'll classic pass, and then they'll shuffle the deck, which is crazy, because why classic pass and then do a false shuffle? So what I tend to do is I'll have a card selected, and then just shuffle the deck and get it to the top, because if you're going to do a shuffle with a break, you may as well just shuffle it to the top instead of adding in a risky move that can go wrong or be seen and then doing a false shuffle. So I very rarely find the need to do a classic pass. Sometimes if I want to do like a card jump into the top for an ACR, so they see their selected card going in the middle. Man, this deck is so sticky. Let me try that again. So they'll see the selected card face up in the middle, and you can get it to come to the top. But even so, I don't like that visual too much. I think there's better visuals out there. By the way, this deck is so tattered. Look at the state on that. Brazen says yes to the membership. David Hand says, great advice, Lloyd, on the acting. I'm celebrating 49 years on the amateur stage. Many shows with prof directors with 30 years in magic. The acting has helped me so much in my close performances. Amazing. Yeah, I think acting's the most important thing in magic. Yeah. None of us says, yes, we love the membership. You have great ideas, fun to watch. Thank you so much, dude. Brazen says, Gaff Deck Tease was looking to get the cohort edition, definitely putting a hold on that. Yeah, hold up on the cohorts. Don't get the cohort gaffs. Can you confirm or deny will it hit hard on social media and fry the real world? Of course, yeah. If you like my cohort gaff deck, then you'll love that, you know. It's always a great magic idea, but when do you come up with it? Okay, ideas are such a varying range of time. I tend to I tend to have more on the spot ideas like some people spend a lot of time on ideas. For me, I'm a scatterbrain. I have a lot of ideas quickly, which is not necessarily a good thing. So you'll see a lot of my videos on YouTube, and especially over the past few years on my Instagram. My Instagram thing used to be this. The most popular posts on my Instagram, especially from like 2015, 16, and 17, I would give myself 1 hour to create the trick that you'd see on that video. And much the same as these Tutorial Tuesdays, a lot of them are created on the same day of filming. And then some of obviously the project releases I have coming out take months in the making. And then there's some routines that have taken me years to perfect. And I'm because of that, I'm too picky and they're still not perfect. But a large majority of my creations do come on same day, at least the tutorials and the Instagram stuff. Alan Boudreau. Just picked up the cohort gas and they're amazing. Still working my way through them all. Looking forward to them. Oh man, yeah, thank you for picking them up. Yeah, I'm not saying like don't use the cohorts, but I'm just saying if anyone's thinking about getting a gaff deck, just hold off because the new thing that I'm working on with a certain person is sick. Mad Scale says, can you teach us some visual card stuffs? Yes, I'll show a visual card thing. Let's shuffle. This deck is so sticky for what it's worth. Look at that. But I'll show you this thing, which is quite cool. We'll use the King of Hearts, and we'll leave it outjogged, and watch as it changes to the Queen of Diamonds. That was really bad. I think I need a fresher deck. Let's try these. Oh, so much better. All right, look at that. I say fresh. These are literally like 6 years old. Okay, so we'll use the 7 of diamonds. Watch as I leave it outjogged, and watch as it changes to the 3 of spades. And you can actually turn it back over to the 7. So I'll teach you this real quick before I jump off for the evening. It looks like this. I'm going to push over, I'll turn off the camera portrait mode and push over 2 cards as one with a very lazy double. So it's like a slop double by Bill Perkins sort of thing. So there's actually 2 cards there, but I push them over because I want to get 3 cards, but I want to get a break under that 3rd card. So I push over these 3 cards and the last 2 just tend to clump together. So I turn them over. So now I'm in this position and I want to get a break under the 3rd card. All right. So then I pick up all 3. Okay, so there's 3 cards here. I pick them all up by my thumb and middle finger. I'm going to clip the corner here. As I come back and strip out the 10, I'm going to steal off the bottom 2 cards. I'm then going to line them up by the 10 at the front, like a book. I'm going to pull back, using my middle finger to pull back and cover them from the front. And I'm going to leave this card outjogged. Then as I wave my hand forward, everything's going to coalesce. And I'm going to square that card in, leaving me a single outjogged card. So, at speed, we'll push over the King of Spades. I'll display the King. Oops, I'm screwing this up. And watch as it becomes. That was 2 black kings. Let's change these up, my friends. So I'll push over 2 cards at once. In this case, the 8 of Spades. Watch the 8 of Spades as it becomes the Jack of Spades. And then you can execute Ken Grinzel's undercover switch to go back. And from the exposed view, 2 cards as one. Display, steal, slide, switch, undercover switch to switch back, pirouette, and back. That's called the maniacal change. I need to practice it more. Brazen, we've got there. Gaff deck teas. Okay, I'm getting to the end of the comments, I think, so I'm going to wrap up soon, guys. Hopefully, Mad Skills, that answered your question for some visual magic. Brazen says stack works the future. Peaks, glimpse for left, right hand, and magicians or both. I've answered some peaks and glimpse stuff earlier on in the stream, so go back and watch this after it finishes and you'll get to learn some peaks. Dr. Don says, as I've gotten further in my magical development, I've found myself eliminating complex techniques. That simple overhand shuffle versus pass is definitely my jam. Same, absolutely same. I realize the more that I'm into magic, the longer I'm in magic, the less tools I use to achieve and create stronger effects. And I think that's like that's sort of the perfect blend of magic. Stu Batman says, can I send your deck of my butterflies? Dude, that would be amazing, but please don't put yourself out, but that would be incredible. Wow. Yeah, man, if you email me, I'll send you my address. Thank you. All right, Dr. Don says, random question number 1. What brand of shoe do I prefer? I tend to... I'm really not a brand guy. I tend not to wear brand stuff, but for my running, I'm flat-footed, so I was told that these Asics are the brand to wear, so I bought Asics shoes for like flat-footed ones. And then I wear Nike trainers sometimes, but ultimately I'll try and wear like boots that are just rugged leather random boots. I love these random questions, by the way, so fire some in if you want, guys. None1 says, my son is getting deployed today, so I have to go to that I can FaceTime with him. Wow, thank you so much for tuning in, Drew, man. Send all your love and the best, all of our love and the best to your son. Wish him good luck, and hopefully he returns home soon, happy and healthy. Thank you for tuning in, man. Yeah, everyone's saying, Stu says, good luck to your son. That's all. Brazen says, good, that's awesome about your son. Enjoy the conversation. Hope to see you again. The person whose name I couldn't answer says, thank you for answering the question. My name is Issei Maya. Nice to meet you, Issei. Juan Pablo Cantando. Love your magic creativity. Thank you so much, man. Punk BMX says, membership sounds sweet. Throw in some feet pics and you're sorted. Please don't make me throw in feet pics, but I will. For you, Punk BMX. Master Luke. Sorry I came in late. That's what she said, sorry. But I just wanted to thank you so much. Some weeks ago, you were showing us how to do a faro. It worked instantly with your advice. Now, a few weeks later, I can do it instantly. Thank you. Oh, man. So glad that I could help. Yo, welcome from the Ukraine. Look at this, man. Right there. Got my Ukraine flag. The only reason I don't have it up anymore is because I needed to make space on my shelves, but woo! Thank you for tuning in from the Ukraine, bro. All right, Fami Mbaki said, I don't know if you agree with me, guys, but I think the greatest magicians are from Spain and the UK. I think the Spanish magicians are insane. Oh, man, magicians are good everywhere. They're so good. Dr. Don says, Aaron Fisher uses something like the maniacal change in one of his routines. It's a really cool technique. I'd love to check that out. I'd love to see it. Wonder what it is. Issei says, 2 great content. I'm happy to see this on YouTube for free. Yeah. Francis Noel, mind reading trick, please. A mind reading trick. I think we did some earlier, right? Where we mind read a bunch of stuff. Should we see if last week we did a psych force that worked on, I think, like 90% of you. So we'll try it again for Francis Noel. But I'm not guaranteeing this will work. But this is just for you, Francis. So, Francis, think of don't think of a suit. Just think of a random value of a playing card, but avoid the obvious things like aces and stuff. All right. So get a random value in mind, and I want you to change your mind. So if you're thinking of a number card, change to a picture. And if you think of a picture card, change to a number card. And of course, avoid the obvious choices every time. And now I want you to add a suit to this card. So again, like the spades is the poker suit. Everyone knows that. Add a suit to this card that is what you would say the least likely suit for people to go for, the most uncommon suit, which would be hardest to guess. So now add that to your value, and you should have a playing card in mind. And when you do, type in the name of that card into the window, and everyone else can do it as well. I kind of rushed this, so it's not going to be right for most of us today, but I'll show it to you when I get like 3 or 4 comments in, and I'll read the rest. So A6 Kayano at the best. I don't even know which ones I've got, but I can go and dig them out and see which make I've got. Stu Batman says, very welcome, dude. Happy for you to get them. Get some real magic use. I'll mail you later, get you decks enough. Man, that's so kind of you, dude. So kind of you. Thank you, man. Any false cuts or shuffles the spectators can do themselves, I have to then do the OC cut, but always looking for more options. So with stacked decks, having them just cut and complete it behind their back or under the table is super powerful. And also I find that like the OC cut is a great one, and also just chucking the deck out on the table and letting them see it. Okay, so we've got some answers coming in. Stu Batman says Jack of Clubs. Fami Mbaki says Jack of Clubs. Jason Bull says Jack of Clubs. It was in fact the Jack of Clubs. Dr. Don says Jack of Clubs. Someone else says 7 of Clubs because they're being awkward. Queen of Clubs, so I was off by 1, Francis. But yeah, people don't go for the Queen generally because I say avoid the obvious choices. But that's yeah. So I don't know. Do you guys like that, Force? It's my rendition of a combination of other people's work. Okay, so Jason Bull, yes, we've done some stuff on the past earlier in this, but the live stream will be up later on, so you can go back and check it out. Thanks, Mark, for tuning in, buddy. Go and have a good afternoon, good evening. Stu Batman says that's insane. Aaron's Search and Destroy is also good. Yeah, that's a cool trick too. I think artificial routine called quadrophenia, but I could be wrong. Cool. Most of you guys are getting the Jack Clubs force correct. I'm so glad that works. It's been my pet psych force for so many years, and I've used it to slay so many magicians. And what I tend to do is I'll place that Jack of Clubs in the deck in the same position that I forced you on earlier. So you guys, I forced you all on the number 18. So I get a blank deck, I put the Jack of Clubs at 18th, I force them to think of the Jack of Clubs, then I force them to think of 18, they deal down the Jack of Clubs at 18th, and then the rest of the deck is blank. It's the perfect A-can. Can I add a tip button? Oh man, yeah, I think there is a tip button. It's like the number, it's like the dollar symbol in the chat window, I think. I don't know if you guys can help Jason do the tip, but 2 people tipped earlier to say thank you, so you're more than welcome to. I never asked, but it's really kind when people do. But it's somewhere down there. Dr. Don says that force is neat. Alan Bordeaux, very close, Jack of Hearts. France Noel, never mind. Wait, what was the never mind to what? So yeah, that force is a combination of things like this. I won't name the techniques in case people, because they're not released, they're not mine to share. But it's like work from Michael Murray, Ross Taylor, Russ Andrews, and then my own stuff in there as well. So the bits that I add into these routines are that the force for the clubs is my force for the clubs, and the getting them to go for the jack is is my addition to these things. So never play leapfrog with a unicorn. Tip for the day, says Dr. Don. I don't know. Yeah, sorry, Jason. I can see that says tip isn't in my list. I'm not sure. I think there's the thing that says show support next to this between the smiley and the pole symbols, but I don't know. It's really kind of you to even suggest it anyway. Oh, you got it. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, man. But yeah, so basically getting them to think. I can explain the club's force. So the club's force is very simple, but really disarming, because we're magicians. We know the clubs is I don't know. It feels kind of maybe obvious to us, but a spectator is not, because they're not familiar with all the suits. So I say this to say, I want you to think about a suit from a deck of cards, or give the value that you're thinking of a suit, but like make it. So I say, like we all know the spades is the poker suit. What? That doesn't mean anything. I just literally that's fabricated. I just throw that out. So we all know spades is the poker suit. So I want you to think of the suit where you don't even know what it means, or you think is least likely to be picked. And then as they think about it, you can see the moment they get it. And then I throw in, once I know they've got it in their mind, so I give it a pause, I say, that way you're thinking of a suit which is least likely to be picked by anyone, which is the convincer that it's more random. And what it is, you say, spades is the poker suit. And they go, okay. Well, now it is. Doesn't matter if it's not. So they've eliminated spades. And then I say, think of the suit that maybe you don't even know what it means, or you think it's least likely to be chosen. By saying you don't know what it means, hearts, they know what a heart is, and they know what a diamond is. Everyone knows what those two are. The club is very open source. It can be interpreted so many different ways. So you eliminate the spades, they eliminate the hearts and diamonds themselves, and they get stuck on clubs, and then you throw in, after they get the clubs in their mind, you throw in, and that way you're thinking of the suit that you think the least amount of people would go for, therefore it's the least obvious choice. Which now makes them think, oh yeah, well, yeah, I'm thinking of a suit that no one goes for. Like, this is going to be really good, but in reality it's a force. And the same with the jack, I say go for the least obvious choices. So king and queens go together, they're just a pair. Like, for example, when you say to somebody, think of a number between 1 and 10, not 3, you guarantee almost more highly every single time that they will think of 7, because 3 and 7 are best friends. It's a weird psychological thing. So when you know they're thinking of a value, wow, Jason Bull, blimey, $19, $20 tip. Holy cow. Thank you so much, my friend. I can't thank you enough. Wow. That has literally made my day. Bloody hell. Thank you so much, Jason Bull. I don't even know what to say. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much, dude. I've lost my trail of thought. Back to, to the jack clubs, right? So when it comes to the jack, I say, so avoid the obvious choices. So they avoid the kings and queens because queens are, everyone thinks of the queen of hearts. And you can throw the queen of hearts out at the beginning of the routine. You can say, if I asked you to think of a card, most people would think of the queen of hearts or the ace of spades. You can throw the king in with that if you want to, but the king and queen are friends. But the jack is the random one. The jack's the random card. And people kind of feel like, I thought of the jack. Like it's a bit, they got one over on you. So when you do the other stuff, which is not my material to share, I say, now, again, avoid the obvious choices. So they avoid the kings and queens. And with the numbers, if they were thinking of a number, they tend to avoid sevens. It seems to be the obvious choice to them, right? Sevens, which you can throw in at the beginning. But that's using like Michael Murray's work and Ross Taylor's work and Ross Andrews' stuff. That's how I get them onto specifically the jack of clubs. Francis Noel, do I have my own special card trick? Nice to meet you from Malaysia. Nice to meet you too, man. Welcome from Malaysia. I've always wanted to go there. I don't have my own special card trick. I have a lot of card tricks, but I have some cool ones on my Instagram, on my YouTube channel even. If you go through, I teach quite a few of them. I like to do psychological stuff, ACANs, and there's even one handling the biddle trick that I do. Okay, please, I want you said my name as I doing trick, as I say card, can force it and show it to my friends. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, random question number 2 from Dr. Don. Favorite comedian and why? Oh, that's such a good question. Oh man, so many. I used to like really dark comedy like Frankie Boyle and Jim Jeffries years ago. But I think I've grown up a bit since then, maybe. So I really like Ricky Gervais. It makes me think quite a lot. And oh dude, so many good ones. Ed Byrne is a British comedian. Wow, Issei Maya has just tipped. Whoa, holy potato chips, dude. What are you guys doing? Thank you so much. Wow, what is going on? Guys, thank you so much for doing that. Man, Issei, you are too kind. Wow. Are you guys trying to get me to mess up my tricks by tipping so much? I'm blown away. Yeah, but I think, Ricky Gervais always makes me think and laugh. What's his name? I always forget his name as well, but it'll come back to me. Crazy. I don't know, who's your favourite comedians, Dr. Don? Remind me of some of yours. Who's the guy that always had funny, Mitch Hedberg. Mitch Hedberg is a really good comedian. I like it when I see his little quotes pop up in random places, like in fortune cookies and stuff. Carl Tess says, sorry to ask 2 times, no worries. Do I have a Faro tutorial? I don't have a tutorial on the Faro, but there's probably some on YouTube. I could make a tutorial on the Faro if there's enough interest on it, but yeah, you probably find some. I'm not the best at it myself personally, so you might be better off looking on YouTube. Francis Noel says, I know you will pick Jack of Clubs because I know how to do magic too. Sorry, bro. Exactly. Yeah. Trying to do psych forces on magicians probably wasn't my smartest move today. Master Luke says, so talking about card slides, you can easily show the deck, bring the back card up, show it, then while squaring up, seal it into palm, it's gone. It is just click while moving your finger down. Do you mean like from here? Matthew Braitman, what is going on? Guys, what are you doing? Matthew Braitman tipping me so much money again. Seriously, what? Dude, thank you so much. Matthew Braitman, my lord, what is going on? So many of you today. I am humbled. I'm actually sweating a bit. This is so crazy. Thank you very, very much. It's insanely kind of you. Dudes, What are you trying to make me do? Are you trying to make me screw up all this stuff? Oh, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Wow, I can go up and buy some new decks to review with this money. Jason, okay, so yeah, I don't have a Pharaoh tutorial. I'm messing up. You're too bloody kind. But there's some great ones out there. Jason Bull says, you're welcome. I watch your videos frequently and really enjoy content. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I'm trying to make as much content as I can for all of you, all the time. Got some real great stuff coming up as well. That you'll be. Punk BMX. This is mental. I mentioned feet pinks and the tips roll in. Coincidence? I think not. Punk BMX. Dude, what? Thank you so much, man. This is bonkers. This is literally... What are you doing to me? Honestly. What? Guys, thank you so much. It literally means the world. The craziest thing is that today I was so tired, and then, well, to be like honest with you all, last week I had a video go like viral-ish on YouTube, and my Sharpie through card video got to like 750,000 views in a week, and I was so excited about it. And then I didn't realize this, but naturally those views drop off. And the drop off was so hard, and I was so bummed out. I was like, oh man, my channel's gonna die off now. I've like hit my peak. I got like a couple of thousand subscribers in a week, and then it slowed down. I think like one day I had like 80 subscribers, down from like 1,000 in a day or something. And I was so bummed out. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I was really tired today. Like, I cannot let the Sunday service, I can't let my guys down. And then today this happens, and this is the best thing ever. So thank you all so much. Bloody hell. Wow. Jason Bull says, damn it, he figured out our nefarious plans. Fami Mbaki says, we don't have PayPal in my country, but I wish to tip you. Oh, that's so kind, man. So kind. Don't worry about it, dude. Dr. Don says, who? I think you mean Mitch Hedberg, the comedian. He died. But he used to write the best like one-liners. He said, what is this joke like? Oh, rice is great when you fancy having 3,000 of something. Master says, I meant back card up just to show it, then squaring the deck and putting it in your hand while doing this. Yeah, show me a video privately, Luke. I'd love to see this because it sounds really neat. Rick Cleveland says, how did you spell to the 10 of hearts? This is a fantastic question. Basically, so I love this little thing, but it is slightly risky, so I'll just mention that up front. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for the tips. I can't believe it. Love you all. So basically, most cards can be spelled with about 14 letters, between 9 and I think it's maximum of 15 and the lowest of 9, but on average between 13 and 14 letters. So let me show you something cool. Unless I hit a diamonds, if I shuffle these, whatever, I'm going to count to the card that's at 14th, and I'm going to force that. So what I do is I say, in a moment, tell me to stop. And what I'm actually doing is counting over 3, 2, so that's 5. I go 3, 2, that's another 5. And now I want them to hit any of these 4 cards. So it doesn't matter which one they take, I'll shift. If they take this next card, whilst they're looking at it, I'll move 3 cards over and just have them put it in. If they take the next one, it doesn't matter, right? So I'll go 1, 2, so there's 12 there. Let's say they take the 13th card, and I'll shift over then that card, which now means I have 13 cards here. I say, put your card back in, the Jack of Clubs, ironically, and we'll lose it in. So I know roughly how many cards are, roughly the spelling of each card. The easiest way to do this is to break it up. So clubs is 5 letters, hearts is 6, spades is 6, and I always forget diamonds. It's like, I think it's 8, isn't it? Or 9, whatever. But then you have the of, which is 2, which can be added or taken away. So it could be like jack. So in this case, it can be jack clubs, jack of clubs, or the jack of clubs. But I know the jack of clubs is 14th down now. And because I know that the suits, I can say to them, what is your card? And they'll tell me the Jack of Clubs. So in my head, really quickly, I'm figuring out the best way to spell to it. So Jack is 4, Clubs is 5, C-L-U-B-S. So 4 plus 5 is 9. So that's one of the shortest cards that can be spelled. But of means 10, 11. So Jack of Clubs is 11 cards, but I need to add 3 more to that, right? So luckily we have the Jack of Clubs. I think I've got this right. Maybe I'm rushing. I'm a little bit excited today. So if I go, so now, because their card, I know I placed their card 14 down, and you can do that a million different ways. I say Jack of Clubs. As I'm pattern, I could say, look, if you could have changed your mind, you could have a different card, blah, 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 blah. I'm just mentally counting it quickly. Now I can spell. I can give them the deck, no sleight of hand, and say, actually, do you know what? Spell that card. And I have them do it face up, so I know if they hit their card or not. But THEJACKOFCLUBS, the Jack of Clubs. And it's essentially that for every card. I basically put their card at 14th and then wiggle with it. If the card's a crazy one, like it's 15th or 16th down, or it's too low, then what I would these are the times I would use the pass. Say the card could only maximum be spelled 12 letters. I would get 2 cards, and I could either do this. I could say, look, I want you to count and spell for each letter. For example, TH. And I'd use these as my example cards and put them on the bottom to get rid of 2. Or as I'm handing them the deck, I would slip them to the bottom. And the same for the top. You can demonstrate if you're going to spell the T, and you need to add, say, of, right? So you need to add 2 cards. Say when you spell the name of the card, like the Jack of Clubs, but spell it like this: OF would be of, right? And then I put them on the bottom. Or you can just pass them to the top of the deck. Again, if that makes complete sense to you guys. Did you guys like that effect, by the way? I think, like, I've seen this effect talked about in many different ways, but this is like the most freestyle way that I sort of do it. Francis Noel says, I have no money to become a student, but at least I can give you my prayer of blessing. That's more than kind. It's more than enough. Thank you so much. Colton Leslie says the tic-tac-through box will go viral while Layman get a whiff of it. I thought maybe it might, just because of how well it's doing, but I think the thumbnail doesn't work so well, so I might try and change the thumbnail up. If anyone has any suggestions on how to improve the tic-tac-through box thumbnail, then please let me know. Jason Bull tried to catch fog this morning, missed. What did I see Gary Jones, the magician, put on Facebook? It's National Plumbers Day. Just let that sink in. Random question number 3 from Dr. Don. Place you desperately want to visit but probably never will. Oh, if I could swear, that's such a good question. I love India. I've been to India. I want to go back. I don't know if I'll ever go back because, I have a family now. It's hard to travel for months at a time. But I would say the Arctic or the Antarctic is one that I'd love to do. But it's just like crazy expensive to go. My friend, one of my best friends, is in the Navy. He managed to go with work. And apparently to travel there as a tourist, it's a couple of £1,000 or dollars per day. And until I'm a millionaire, I don't have that sort of disposable cash to do that. So somewhere like really remote, like the Arctic Circle, the Antarctic, would be somewhere I'd love to go because it's just so difficult to do it as a normal person. And then other places I'd love to go. I've been to a lot of places. I've been to many parts of the world. So I'd say something like that. Maybe some sort of like really like out in the sticks sort of tribe somewhere. Whenever I travel, I really don't like to go to the touristy places. So when I go to India or Vietnam and stuff, it's very rarely to like the main parts. Or if I do stay at the main parts, I'll venture outside quite far away from the tourist traps. So that's the type of travel I like to do. Darcy Zhang says, maybe for Tutorial Tuesdays, don't teach the trick in the same video. Instead, teach the trick in next Tutorial Tuesday to keep the mystery longer. I've been very much toying with this idea, Darcy. I feel like with the channel, people have grown to expect it. And if I did a Tutorial Tuesday and didn't teach the method, I think I'd upset a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got a Tutorial Tuesday, which I think is just going to destroy everyone. I filmed it. It's so good. I was thinking of putting it into the membership as an exclusive because it's so good. But also then I don't want to let people down. So I'm really torn with how to do these things and how to put it up. I'm just kind of letting the channel grow itself. You guys are incredible. I love you all. That's why I do this. But trying to find the best way to deliver all the content and then also trying to keep a few things for like the extra special members like you guys who tune into the live streams, who tip, who want to be members is also a tricky thing, Jason Ball says, great math-based trick. Master Luke says, that was awesome. Grunson says, do you know a former Swedish magician called Fredrik Andersson? Now he's into stand-up. I do not, but it sounds good. Sounds really interesting. Brazen Magic says, coffee equals excitement. Commandment number 6, don't overload coffee. This is true. I drank too much coffee for this show. All right. You could do a next tutorial Tuesday, a sneak peek at the end of the tutorial. This is an interesting one. Very interesting. I kind of think, though, N. Clementi, that half the excitement for the tutorial Tuesdays might be that people don't know what's coming, so it's always a surprise. But if I showed at the end of the tutorial Tuesday, for example, a coin trick is coming, and people are like, oh, I'm not really into coins, then they might not tune in next week. Do you know what I mean? Carl Tess says, random question, where are you from? It says, you don't have to answer. I'm from South Wales in the UK. So people that are not in the UK they think that Wales is in England, but it's much like Canada to the US. Wales is a separate country from England. I live in Wales. I live in a little seaside town right next to the beach called Porthcawl. All right. Dr. Don says, what if you showed the next week's piece? Oh yeah, the end of the sneak peek. Seen that there. That's exactly what. And I was thinking, am I losing my mind? John Lyon says, which magician you look up to, and what was your first card trick and your best one? So probably Paul Harris is the magician I look up to the most. He's so creative. Wrote the book on creativity pretty much. My first card trick in like the magic industry. The first card trick that I learned sort of loved from an online resource was a mystery card from Penguin Magic. It was done by August Perlman. And my best trick to perform is probably the blank deck, any card, any number with a jack of clubs at 18. Because it's the method, if you psych force them correctly, there's no working it out really. But I also have something called 2-card deluxe, which is 2-card Monty, but the 2 cards that are in their hands are 2 named cards, which is really powerful. Master Luke said, John Middleton said, I bought a wig for £1 yesterday. I had to buy it because it was a small price to pay. Did anyone ever hear of that little person psychic that stole and went on the run? It was a small, medium, at large. Is that the joke? I can't remember. Master Luke, so as a question, might you show your routine of an Erdnase change from the side? Because I feel like it's more fluent than doing it straight. Thank you, we love you. I love you too, man. The Erdnase change, I love the Erdnase change, but I feel like I'm so bad at it. So this is like, see how bad that was? I mean, it wasn't like a standard change. Let me try again. So I should probably do it that way, right? The exposed view, I suppose, is here, steal out, and then how do I do this exposed? Try to use these fingers to square it in. I don't. I think that's what we were talking about. So my hair. Okay, we've been on 2 hours, by the way, guys. So I'm gonna wrap up real soon. As you can hear, my kids just come home. Dr. Don, I do prefer not knowing what's coming up personally. Thank you, man. Yeah, I think I prefer that. Jason Bull said, a baby seal walks into a club. Abraxas says, what up? Abraxas, does your letter A not work on your keyboard? Because every week I think the same letter is missing or something. Dude, I miss you, Abraxas. Everyone, whilst I log off, when I come to the end of the stream in a few minutes, go and check out Abraxas' YouTube channel and convince him to post more regularly, because he has the best stuff on YouTube. Doesn't post enough. Fami Mbaki says, can you name some of the old magicians that inspire you? They are great to watch them performing. Go on and look at the work of Flosso on YouTube with some great sleight of hand stuff. Paul Harris's old performances. Luba is incredible. Henry Evans was a big inspiration to me, especially in the gimmick department. Some incredible. Go and search those names on YouTube and just be blown away by what they can do. Dr. Don says, the Scarecrow won an award for being outstanding in the field. All right, I'm going to answer the last 2 questions. So, random question, do you love music? I love music. I don't stop listening to music every chance I get. It's my child shouting. That's probably the cue for me to go. Jason Bull says, Don, nice. Thanks for the session. Thank you so much, Matthew, for tuning in. It means the world to me and everyone else that tipped today. I can't believe you've done that. Thank you all so much. Midge is in the chat. Guys, if you missed it, if you liked any psychic mentalism with cards or mentalism in general, check out the Sunday session that I did a few weeks ago with Midge, my friend, incredible cinematographer, trailer maker, and magician. We talked all things mentalism and magic in the Sunday session with Midge. He has a beautiful hairstyle and gorgeous beard. And the final question from Master Luke, who says, when will we see you at Penn and Teller? We need to. Best wishes from Germany. Yeah, probably the 12th of never. I'm not interested in competitions, TV shows, anything like that. But you will see, I've seen some of my work performed by other magicians on there in the past that I've helped out with. Guys, I think that brings us to the end of Lad tell his mum when I grow up I want to be a magician. She told him, you can't do both. Fahim, do I stream every day? No, once a week on a Sunday I stream. Guys, that brings us to the end of the live stream. We've been going for over 2 hours. You've tipped me over $50, £47. I can't thank you all enough. You guys are ridiculously generous. I love each and every one of you. Those of you that tipped, those of you that didn't tip. I know it's difficult. Thank you all so much. I hope you all got something from this today. Leave some comments after the stream. Let me know what you want to see next time. Some great suggestions. As always, we'll be back on Tuesday for a special tutorial Tuesday. I've filmed it. I've edited it already. I think I'm going to put it up on Tuesday. I really, really love it. I'm just a bit torn because I love the effect so much that I don't know what to do with it. But tune in on Tuesday. Thanks, Pastor Barnes. Fiddlin' Johnny, I'm going to go and watch. I'm going to binge some of your channels later on this evening when my kid goes to bed. Everyone go and check out Fiddlin' Johnny's YouTube. Click on his link right now, and once this live stream finishes, go and check out all his videos, all his reviews. He's an incredible YouTuber. Thank you, Jason Bull, Master Luke, Dash Magic, Alex Bow, Fiddlin' Johnny. Everyone hit the like button, he says. Guys, have the best time. See you next time. I'll see you on Tuesday, then Thursday, and I'll see you live on Sunday. Much love. Bye, everyone. Thank you.